Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the California Nevada Chat this Friday, March 14th. We're so glad that you joined us. We hope you all had a great and productive week. I know we had some much needed rain, certainly here in Southern Cal, and I think it's headed up to our neighbors up north today. But hopefully, we can get through this treacherous California winter storm. My name is Nikki Gatch. I'm the executive director of the Southern California PGA. On behalf of our section president, Dr. Allison Kurt, as well as our colleagues from the Northern California PGA, President Nick Bailey and Executive Director Caitlin Doyle, we'd like to welcome you to the California Nevada Chat. Caitlin, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Nikki. It's great to be with you all for another Friday. We are really rearing up for the season. It's exciting. We had our big 2-day event this week at Silverado, one of our big pro-am events, and it feels great to feel like the season's here and we're all rearing to go and excited for that. So I don't think Nick is going to be on today, but look forward to really having a great conversation with all of our PGA of America staff this morning, and they're all here as resources to you, and excited to have you guys learn a little bit more about what they all do. Yeah, that's it for me right now, Nikki.
Great. Thank you. Well, as Caitlin alluded to, we got some great guests for you today, all coming to you from the PGA of America. They're here to introduce or reintroduce themselves to all of you and share with you what their role is with the PGA and how that relates to direct service and resources for you as a PGA member. Today, we're joined by our District 11 director from the Aloha section, Scott Ashworth, our player engagement consultant who supports all three sections within District 11, Junko Harkins, and also our two career consultants from Northern California, Daryl Fucano, and from Southern California, Michael Gainey. And joining us as always to give us our legislative updates is the executive director of the California Alliance for Golf, Craig Kessler. So we'll jump right in, and Mr. Ashworth, we're going to start with you, district director for the greatest district in the PGA of America. If you could give us just share a little background, on your journey and career, and then maybe dive into what does it mean to be a district director?
Yeah, thank you, Nikki, and thank you,
Yeah.
Kate. Thank you for inviting me to be on the chat. So again, my name is Scott Ashworth. I am the director of golf at Four Seasons Resorts Lanai, here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hopefully, some of you have heard of Lanai. We are part of the Hawaiian Island chain. Lanai has all of 3,000 residents, no stoplights, one gas station, and no fast food. So if you come to Lanai, don't expect any fast food. But we do have two beautiful Four Seasons resorts on the island. So I have been working in Hawaii for almost 25 years now on 4 different islands. So I've been lucky to kind of see how the islands all differ here in Hawaii. Been a 28-year PGA member. I'm originally from Washington State and grew up in the Pacific Northwest. And this is my second stint on the National Board of Directors as the District 11 representative. And again, I'm very honored, proud to be following John McNair, who did an amazing job. Most of you know John, and couldn't be luckier to kind of follow in his footsteps. He's been a great mentor of mine as well. I am married with 1 daughter, and the new joy of my life, I am now a grandfather. I don't feel like it, but I do have a grandson now and 2 fur babies. So that's what keeps me busy when I'm not here at work or focused on the PGA. So again, I am in my first year as the District 11 director on the national board. Again, we do serve a 3-year term. I do sit on a few committees. Happy to answer any question about those committees. I sit on what's called the strategy committee, which has really been kind of fascinating to be a part of. I do sit on the property advisories committee, which I think is kind of funny that they put the guy that's the farthest away from our properties there in St. Lucie. I am the chair of that board of that committee, and also President Don Ray has kind of included our new property there in Frisco, Texas, as part of that committee as well. So that's been fun. And I also am the chair of the scholarship committee. Also very proud to be co-chairman of the PGA Reach running team. Some of you may, I guess it was kind of front and center the other day. So proud of being a chair for that. We've raised a tremendous amount of money for PGA Reach over the years, and that's been fun. Again, we run in the New York City Marathon to raise money for Reach. So that's been fun. Again, I do represent the Aloha section, Southern California, and the Northern California section. So again, what we call District 11. And certainly while I represent our sections, I also have to think about what is best for the 30,000 members and associates, as well as what's best for our association in the boardroom. So the boardroom is, again, there are 14 district directors as well as our officers that make up the national board. So really my job is to stay current with the issues, to be proactively looking for solutions with other board members, and really to be a good communicator with those in our district. Again, especially our EDs, as Caitlin and Nikki will tell you, that, obviously the lifeline to our members. So that communication is super important, as well as with the officers of each section. They definitely need to be in the know. Kind of an example, we did have a call the other day where we talked about our priorities moving into the next year, fiscal year 25, with our North Stars. So we had a long presentation, well, about an hour presentation, where we covered our North Stars heading into fiscal year 25. And we had our executive directors and officers on that call. So again, my job is really to kind of be that liaison, have great communication, and talk a little bit about what we're doing in the boardroom. I think the biggest service I can provide, the biggest service and resource I can be for you all, is really to let you know that I'm always available to answer any questions or concerns you may have regarding what's going on at the PGA. So again, there's no doubt there is a lot going on, and I may not have the answer, but if I don't, I'll certainly find out and get back to you. I think I'm pretty transparent. We'll certainly have a conversation. You may not always like the answer that you get, but I'm certainly more than willing to have that conversation. And so please reach out to me. You can certainly shoot me an email or text me, and or give me a call, and happy to talk about anything or any questions you may have. Currently, this, like as mentioned, this is my second stint on the board. It is very different. I'm not gonna lie about that. We do have new leadership. Obviously, Derek Sprague is our new CEO. Those of you who have met Derek, I couldn't be happier with that selection. Derek, he is a PGA member. He's been in the boardroom. He has really great experience as far as, working for the tour. He has just really a wealth of experience that I think is going to benefit us all as we move forward. So I love Derek, how he came out swinging against really the golf ball rollback. He jumped right in there and jumped right into the fray. So he's not afraid to kind of get in there and fight for us as PGA members. So I'm excited about Derek. And then we have Jenny Lewis, our new executive director for PGA Reach. Getting to know Jenny, and she, a lot of she's got a big job ahead of her with PGA Reach. She certainly looks to do some important fundraising, as we need for really the stability in the future of Reach. We in a very good way, in a challenging way, we grew super fast with Reach, obviously with PGA Hope and PGA Junior League, and it's a good problem to have, the success we're having. So Jenny's tasked with really coming up with how we can raise more money, how can we do more fundraising, and so she's got her hands full, but I'm confident she's going to do a great job. And then there's Don Ray, our new PGA president. For those of you who have met Don, he is a bundle of energy. He is tough to keep up with, but his heart just bleeds blue and gold, and so he has been really a breath of fresh air, and I think it's going to be fun to see what he can really accomplish over the next couple of years. And again, he's challenging the board members, he's challenging staff to think differently and be different, and it has been very refreshing. So super excited to be working with Don. And then kind of last but not least, there's Wes Wailahua. So many of you know Wes, who's not on the call, but he is executive director for the Aloha section. He is now the chair of the ED committee as well. And Wes, again, Wes is not afraid to voice his opinion, as Nikki and Caitlin will tell you. But he's going to push the envelope. It's all about, for him, the communication that the sections have with national, and just really creating that transparent communication, which is so important for all of us. So he's been fantastic, and we're super proud to have him as the chair of the ED. He's got his challenges. There's certainly, with the time change, we tend to have a pretty short day that we can work with everybody. As we can tell you when we have 2 and 3 a.m. calls but it's okay. We're super excited to have Wes in that chair. So That in a nutshell is kind of what I am and what I do. And again, this is my second stint. It's totally different. Everybody says, oh, it should be similar. No, everything is different. All the challenges we have, the players. And so it is invigorating to be back on the board and to be a part of everything that's happening. So, and as I mentioned, just happy to help out and be a resource for any of you and any questions you may have. So again, thank you for having me on the chat. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott. I'm gonna jump in right here and just congrats, obviously, on that amazing career and all that you're involved with. We're certainly happy to have you representing us in the boardroom, and know you're doing an amazing job. But want to kind of just talk a little bit about maybe your experience with serving on boards and serving on committees and how important that might be for our section members to get involved with. Obviously, we're always at the section level looking for people to serve on committees and hopefully eventually on their chapter boards and section boards. But what have you learned from doing that about yourself and giving back to others through the whole process?
That's a great question. Thanks, Caitlin. I had a great mentor when I kind of came to the Aloha section PGA, Ed Kageyama, who is now our vice president in the section. He challenged me to get involved, and I didn't know how to get involved. But he said his recommendation was to get on committees, and that's what got me going to where I am today. So I got on our member or our apprentice committee way back in the day, and that was the start, right? So if you want to get involved in governance, people say, well, how do you get to be, say, the District 11 director? To me, it starts with committees. You get involved, you show everybody that you're committed to, your section, to our members, teaches you how to work with others to get things done. And so through the committees, that got me interested in possibly serving in our section governance. That led to me getting on the board. And then as I got on the board again, just getting involved, asking questions, and that kind of led me to becoming an officer on the board. And then, through that, after I became president of the Aloha section a few years later, the opportunity to become the District 11 director. So it started with committees, though, right? So just getting involved, and people say, well, how do I get involved? Just raise your hand. Raise your hand and be involved in whatever you can. And through that, you learn how to, obviously work with people, how to solve issues. You start to see bigger picture, not only what's happening within your chapter, but what's happening within your section. And as you start to get involved with what's happening at the section, then you start to see a little bit more what happens at the national level. And it all kind of dovetails into, the opportunities that you may have in the future. So, but it starts with getting involved however you can, and certainly it starts with committees as well.
Yeah, great point, Scott. We always encourage all of our new members, even associates, to start at the committee level. And in both SoCal and NorCal sections, we have 5 chapters. Caitlin, I think you all have 6. That's a great way too, because it's more at a local level. You're working directly with your peers that might, live and work down the street from you. And in a big section like the 2 of ours, that's a great way to get started. So that's great. Obviously, you've got big challenges, with being out on an island and having to communicate with folks all over the country. And I know those 8 a.m. East Coast calls are not fun. You'd think they'd give some consideration to the West Coast and even further west with you all, but they're getting there, I think.
Yeah, the biggest thing about when you have those 8 a.m. Eastern is you're trying to decide, do I go to bed or do I go to bed and go back to sleep? So that's a pretty tough decision.
Right, right, exactly. I've got a personal question. Congrats on being a grandpa. I need to know what your grandpa name is.
Papa.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was going to be some Hawaiian name or something.
Yeah, Tata would be a good one, but that means like old man in Hawaii. So I really don't feel that old. So I'm trying to stay away from Tata as long as I can. I'm going to Papa as long as they'll let me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, congrats on that. Thank you for all that you do. For all 3 of our sections, you're a great representative. Just as a reminder to everybody, there's 14 districts in the PGA, and those 14 district directors have a seat on the National Board of Directors and are in the room when major decisions are being made, and they're the voice for our 3 sections here in our district. So We've been fortunate to have some great district directors, and some great ideas have come out of our district. We appreciate you leading us, and always being there to support, and hope to see you at a section event here real soon. Thanks for joining us this morning, Scott.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Caitlin.
We will move on now to our player engagement consultant, Junko Harkins. Many of you know Junko, as she covers all 3 sections within the district, and has been in this role for, I'm not sure, 5 years, 6 years, maybe. She's a great resource, certainly PGA Junior League, but really all things player engagement can be a great resource to help you grow your business. So I know she's going to talk about a few things. So Junko, we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Nikki. Thanks again for having me. I'm so excited to be on the call today. As Nikki mentioned, I think many of you probably know me, as I do support NorCal, SoCal, and Aloha PGA sections. But for those of you who might not, my name is Junko Harkins. I am your PGA of America player engagement consultant. Just to give you a quick history or bio about me, I did go to a PGM school, Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I've actually been a member for 15 years now, which is really crazy when I think about it. And most recently have become a certified professional in teaching and coaching. So hopefully on my way to get my master professional level in teaching and coaching as well. I'm married to a fellow PGA professional. I am a mom of a crazy 2.5-year-old, but we love her. And I have worked at various different golf courses throughout my career of being a PGA member, from high-end private to public facilities and across the country, because I'm originally from New Jersey. So as Nikki alluded to, I have been in this position now for 6 years, just over 6 years. Ultimately, I really love this position, as it's a role that I can support all of you and support you all being the biggest heroes and the expert guides and coaches at your facilities, and really be able to cheer you on while you create these impactful moments for your customers through golf. So at the PGA, we have a suite of products that you can use and offer to really create these impactful moments. And I will highlight a few of them in the next few slides here, but I just really wanted to remind you, I am here to support you. I'm here to be your biggest advocate. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me if I can help you in any way to grow your business and to really engage with your consumers. I really want to talk about PGA Coach first. I think many of you know me as the Junior League person, but I would like to change that narrative, as I feel like PGA Coach is really, and this platform that we have is the driver of everything that we offer at the PGA of America. We launched PGA Coach 5 years ago, and I feel like there's probably a few misconceptions out there. When I say misconceptions, if you get asked, what is PGA Coach? I feel like there's a lot of different answers. A lot of you can say, oh, it's just ADM certification, or it provides business tools. It lets me create a coach profile. And I just think that many of you have different ideas, thoughts, or definitions. So I wanted to take the time today to really clarify this and tell you about how much it's really evolved in the last five years we've had this platform. So I like to break it down into 3 different pillars, as you can see on the screen here: learning, marketing, and business tools. So with the learning program, obviously, we have the ADM certification. If you haven't already heard about ADM, the American Development Model. And just a quick plug here, if you're in Southern California, I will be hosting an ADM Live here in a few weeks. So please register, whether you are ADM certified or not. I promise you it'll be a really fun day. But so that we have a bunch of different learning and educational opportunities. So also, if you're looking for some PDR credits, a great place to go, and really beneficial too. So even if you're looking for PDR credits, I bet you'll learn a thing or two by going through the educational platforms there. The marketing aspect, yes, you can create a coach profile and be promoted on PGA.com to connect you with consumers. And then the third one, the business tools, we've really expanded this, and you can book lessons, communicate with your consumers. If you do PGA Junior League, PGA Family Golf, PGA Hope, all of that could be run through this platform as far as registrations. Also, you can do group lessons, group events, and all those things that maybe some of you are already doing using some other platforms. But again, this is something that that really drives a lot of the player engagement programmings that we offer at the PGA of America. We do have some updates coming soon, which I won't really dive into that today, just for time's sake, but we are hoping to really build a tool for the next generation with these updates coming up. And we want to invest in more resources within the PGA Coach platform, so we can just enhance the experience for you all. We also want to direct leads to engaged coaches. Currently, there's about 30% of leads that go completely unanswered, unfortunately, by our professionals who are on this platform. So we really just want to look to enhance the consumer experience through PGA Coach as well. I would love to quickly talk about PGA Junior League. I know I said I'm not necessarily, I don't want you to all think of me as just the Junior League person, but I think many of you know this is one of the most successful junior programs that we have. It's over 10 years old, which is, again, crazy to think. I know Nikki's been a part of the inception as well with this. Last year, we hit this milestone of over 500,000 players through the lifetime of PGA Junior League that's participated. So a lot of juniors have touched this program. You can offer this at any time throughout the year, however many times. So if you want to make this your core junior program, you really can. Players pay a one-time annual fee of $110, which is called the Game Changer fee, and they can participate in any program all year round. So it gives the consumer a better experience as well. And then everyone really wins with Junior League. For you as golf professionals and coaches, it's an added revenue stream. Your facilities can benefit through incremental revenue, which could be food and beverage, merchandise sales, range ball sales, all the things that you can think of that when you have more people spending more time at your golf course, the money that they spend. We do have a national championship, but just a reminder, more than 85% of our players are recreational, and our programs too. So the national championship is great. However, it really just tailors to a really small amount of our players. And I think a lot of our coaches really like the local programming aspect. Last year, as you can see on the slide here, collectively for NorCal and SoCal, all of our junior league coaches made over $1.8 million in coach revenue. And that's just in coach revenue. So I think that's important to highlight, just so you all can see the impacts of PGA Junior League for you as the golf professional. Last thing I'd like to point out, this makes you the rainmaker at your facility. You can bring a lot of new golfers, and you can also get the parents involved as well. So again, just a lot of great opportunities through PGA Junior League. It's not too late to start a program, so please reach out to me if you're interested at all. PGA Family Golf, I would really love to highlight this. If you're not familiar with it, it's an elevated parent-child event is what I'd like to call it, where everyone can play as a team. Your whole family can play on a team together. Many of you might actually ask me, why should I do this through the PGA of America when I can just do it by myself? And well, you certainly can, and I would never stop you. But the reasons to do it through PGA, you have the backing of the brand. It's more revenue, hopefully, in your pocket, especially if you already offer PGA Junior League. An update as of this year for all of the PGA Junior League families that participate in your program, if you offer family golf, the $25 fee that we have on family golf is completely waived. So again, if you're already offering PGA Junior League, this is a really great way to add maybe a season-ending event for your PGA Junior League programs. And honestly, no family really has ever regretted participating in a family golf program once they've played in it. So I think a lot of the professionals in both NorCal and SoCal who have offered this will only tell you positive stories about their family golf program. We do recommend a scramble or alternate shot format, but this is really up to you. There's so much flexibility around the program. And yes, we do have a family golf championship. And right now we're currently taking open registration for this. It is at Whistling Straits and Black Wolf Run. And I want to point out that we do have a professional division as well. So if any of you all on the call, whether you offer PGA family golf or not, there's an opportunity for you all to go to Whistling Straits this summer in August with your family team and participate in our family golf championship. Just last but not least, a reminder, I really would love to connect with you. We can talk about program implementation, business planning. I am here for you, not just with all these PGA programs. So whether you offer these programs or not, there's no pressure. Let's talk about what works best for you at your facility, what your goals are. I am here to help you with all of that. I've been in some or a lot of your shoes, especially when it comes to working at a green grass facility. So I've seen it, I've heard it, would love to just be able to help and support you. So please reach out to me at any time. I am excited to be an advocate for you and help you all make more money. So thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thanks, Junko. Appreciate it. Appreciate you and all that you do for the members of our great district. I know what you do is not easy, but it's also really fulfilling and rewarding to help your fellow professionals and see the smile on faces of kids and families. And so I know you love what you do, and that shows through. So thank you. Last but not least are our career consultants. They are both new to their roles. So we have Daryl Fucano from the Northern California section and Michael Gainey from Southern California section. Gentlemen, we'll let you take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate it. This is Daryl. I'll just give you guys a thank you and Caitlin for having us on. I'm going to give a 50,000 foot view of what the career consultants do and what career services do for the membership of our sections. And then I think Michael is going to dive into a little bit more of what we do on a day-to-day and what we do to help out the membership. But a little background and a little bio on myself. It sounds crazy, like Junko said, it sounds crazy, but I think I'm a 16-year PGA member now already. It's crazy to think, but I'm a 16-year member. I started out at a semi-private resort course in Carson City, Nevada. I ran a golf club down in Southern California as well for 5 years with American Golf. I got recruited to open up Top Golfs, and so I was running Top Golfs for a time, and then after that, I ran a public facility, a municipal facility after that. So all as a GM role or head professional role in all of those places. So I've been in green grass for a number of years. And, like you said, Nikki, I'm pretty new to the career consultant role that Caitlin vacated to become the executive director. So I'm newly in. I think I'm about 4 months in now, but I'm learning a lot. But I'm going to give a 50,000 foot view of what the career consultants do on a day-to-day, and then what the career services do. So really what career services, the mission for the career services, I'll just read the mission, and this is as formal as you guys will ever get me, and as formal is what I'm going to say. But the career services role is to enhance the personal and professional lives of PGA members. And there's 3 pillars underneath that. So the first pillar is to empower PGA professionals. So provide career development, employment opportunities to help the PGA professionals succeed in their careers. The second pillar is support the PGA's mission. So we're going to align our efforts with the PGA mission to promote the game of golf and serve the PGA member. And the third pillar of that is to elevate the PGA profession, enhance the visibility, recognition, and overall standing of the PGA professionals within the golf industry. So really, that's kind of what we do on a day-to-day. What I also think is we're here to support the sections and the membership. And, I think sometimes people think that the career consultants are at headquarters in Frisco, Texas. And we are in our sections, we are with our sections, and we are with our sections and membership. So I think, I think that's important to say, but I think Michael is going to, go into the day-to-day of what the career consultants do.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Daryl. I want to say hello to everyone that I have not met before. My name is Michael Gainey, and I'm the career consultant for Southern California. And like Daryl said, what we're here to do is to better your lives as fellow PGA members and associates. We want to make sure that in your place of employment, you're happy, you're healthy, that you are not getting stagnant, that you're always thinking of how to better yourself. We want to be that liaison between you, maybe the section office, PGA headquarters, somebody that you can reach to if you have questions. And if we don't have the answers, we know where to get them. We'll work hard behind the scenes to find those answers. We want to make sure that all of our associates are looked after. You know, we get a lot of people that get started in the program, have struggles get through level 1 and getting into level 2. And we want to make sure we provide resources that can help them achieve their membership, and also help them kind of plan out their career path as they're getting into the business of golf. Some of the things that we also do that helps you kind of indirectly, we have a program called ExecuSearch. So we have a team of people on our career services team that it's a paid search program, but for anybody on the call that might be a general manager, a DOG, somebody that's in a position of looking to hire some upper level management positions, the ExecuSearch team is one that we call upon when we need help, helping you out to find those positions and how to fill them. When you are a candidate looking for a job, and let's say you look for a head pro job, and you see an email come across from the ExecuSearch team, we're going to be that person as a consultant to talk to get a little more info about the job, help you with some resume review, make sure that before you apply for a job, that your resume looks nice and clean and fits the job posting. If you happen to get picked as a candidate and selected for interview process, we're also going to be there to help walk you through the interview process. So there is a long list of stuff that we really do behind the scenes. We're counselors, we're coaches, we're friends, and we're going to be family. And we want you to know that every step of the way throughout your career, that we're here for you. If you have questions about anything, let us know. Again, like I said a minute ago, we don't want you to get stagnant in what you're doing. We want to make sure that you are always doing things to better yourselves, prop yourself up to help you as you move forward in your career, look for new job opportunities, and also to support you in managing your staff if you're in one of those positions. And we have a great team of people on this call that all work together to find ways to help you as a PGA member. And you know, I just want to say that I appreciate the time. I know Daryl does. And do not hesitate to reach out to me at any time, even if you're not in SoCal. And the same thing for Daryl, you know, reach out to him anytime you have any questions. So that's all I got, Daryl.
Jump in here if I can with a question, actually, Daryl, unless you have some more here.
No, nothing. Yeah, go, Caitlin.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Great backgrounds, and thanks for giving some background on career services. Obviously, I know the position well, and I love what you guys do, and it's near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I have the little blazer on the wall. I got to get the arrow right. That's the career services blazer, and it means a lot to me. It's part of my life for a long time. So I know what you guys do, and I know how much you work on our section behalf. So I appreciate that. I do get a lot at the section level. We get a lot of questions, right, about the new program, you know, PGM 3.1, how it's formatted, how it's more of a quiz format. There's a lot of our section members that, you know, took the PAT years ago, took the business school years ago, and it's changed substantially since then. So could you guys maybe kind of walk everyone through, you know, how the new format looks? What are the requirements? What are the PAT requirements? They've changed it up a little bit with some friendlier formats to submitting handicaps and, you know, combining scores and things like that. So maybe just give a rundown of that for everyone would be great.
Yeah,
Michael, you want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'd be happy to start with it, and you can follow up with it. To be honest, myself and Daryl are still learning a lot about it because just like you and like others on the call, there have been a lot of great changes. I think the one that I really like the most is the fact that you can choose a career path. So when you get into level 1, you kind of get the basics of what golf ops in the business is like. And then from level 2 to 3, you say, all right, I want to go teaching and coaching, golf ops, or executive management, which is really great because not everybody that gets in the industry, you know, has the same path that they want to take. You know, they have different goals. With the PAT, there's things that are somewhat similar. You still got this 36-hole monster of a day that you got to conquer, but they've made it easier to get in. So, you know, if you have a one qualifying round that essentially meets about half a target score that lets you get started. You mentioned the index. If you have a qualifying index, that lets you get in the door. And you can even combine rounds from different events. So like if you're a college player, you can utilize some of those rounds. Or if you play multiple PATs, in a couple months span, and you have a 72 in one and a 75 in another, that'll work. So it's really nice that they made it easy for everybody to get into the program. And one thing that Daryl and I are learning a lot is when it comes to mentoring, as we've said, we don't have all the answers, but we like to connect new associates with fellow associates who might be a step ahead of them. So I just had a situation recently where I met with a pro. He's an HP at a club who's an associate level 1. And I connected him with another associate who just completed level 1. So that's somebody that knows exactly what's going on and can kind of bridge that gap where there might be some info that I don't know. But we just want our associates, again, to know there's a lot of ways to help you get through it and reach out to us. And we have great mentoring going on in SoCal and I'm sure up in NoCal and beyond in the PGA.
Yeah, Caitlin, and I'll echo what Michael said as well. The program has been changed to not be so restrictive on what paths you want to take for your career and your future. And it's opened up a lot of opportunities for members and membership that might not necessarily have gotten in when all of us have gotten through the program. And really what it's done is to help facilitate that associate and all of the associates that are going through um, you know program 3.1 now. It's just been able to help them get through the process a little bit cleaner. I think the education and the learning is a little bit better now as far as how it's presented to what we have to do. And I think it originated from COVID, right? Where, the entire first level is entirely online. You don't have to go out when we used to have to go out to Florida for our testing and things like that. Testing is on the, done, at home, and then once you go out to Frisco for levels 2 and level 3, then that's when you get your more specific information and education on your career path.
That's fabulous. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and I know obviously, they're huge resources for everyone. So if you guys have any more questions, I know Michael and Daryl can answer those, of course, after the call. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for the time and what you do every day. I know you serve our members well, and we're grateful to have you. And I remember when I was in this role, I'd always used to say, make sure you reach out to your career consultant, and it's really true. They have a very big pulse on what's going on in the industry as far as jobs. They're talking to employers every single day, right? And so creating a relationship with your career consultant and certainly with your player engagement consultant is very important. So we're here all to help you. And yeah, hopefully you can talk to them soon and they'll be at events. So we're going to do a couple rapid fire fun questions with all of you guys before we wrap up and toss it over to Craig. So I'm going to toss this one out first and, we just kind of go through it. Junko, Daryl, Michael, and Scott, but let's go with your favorite golf course. And remember, we are in NorCal and SoCal, so maybe we'll think about it. But what's your guys' favorite golf course?
I'll jump on that right now. This same question was asked of me and Daryl recently by our fellow consultant, Keith Soriano. And it was easy for me. It's my home course that I grew up at, still live near, and it's called San Vicente Golf Resort. So those of you in SoCal and specifically San Diego might know that resort. But it's where I played high school golf, where I had my first job, where I learned about teaching, where I had PGA Junior League programs that I ran. Made a lot of great connections with members that are still good friends today. And it's now a place where I take my kids and to look at that kind of full circle moment of, wow, this is where I first started back when I was like 12 or 13. And now I have a son at home who's going to be 12 pretty soon. It's pretty fun. So that's my favorite course.
Yeah, I'll jump in. It would be easy for me to say Manali Golf Course where I'm at, which is beautiful, or possibly Cypress, but I don't want to say that, especially if Casey's on the call. Mine would be where I grew up in the called Meadowood Golf Course back in Spokane, Washington. My dad was actually a superintendent, was in charge of building the golf course, and I was lucky to be the first one to ever tee off there on opening day. So special memories from when I was a kid growing up. Same thing playing junior golf, and again, just great memories with my father from when he built it. So that would be my favorite.
I'll jump in next, and I will say Cypress. Although, Scott, I do like your golf course too. I mean, I will say this is a really hard question for me, but I'm gonna have to say Cypress because I was lucky enough to play it with Caitlin last December. So it was my one first, and hopefully I can go back, but it was a really special experience that I got to share with Caitlin. So Cypress is probably up there right now for sure.
Oh man, so many to name, Caitlin. I'll say like my personal favorite is Davis Municipal Golf Course. You know, honestly didn't play around to golf until I got to college at UC Davis, and you know, the memories that I had out there and how much fun I had with my friends and buddies. That's probably it. But a close second, the courses that I've run, they've all been great. Lake Tahoe Golf Course, Empire Ranch Golf Course in Carson City, Nevada. Shout out to Valley Oaks Golf Course in Visalia. A whole bunch of different places that I have really fond memories of just family, friends, golf, and camaraderie.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys, for the responses. And it's cool to, that's what the power of golf is that, all of your guys' favorite golf courses are tagged along with those memories and the people that you're sharing them with. And that's more important, right? We have some of the best golf courses, top 100 facilities in NorCal and SoCal, but your guys' courses are all the ones that, you have your memories with your families, and that's pretty special. So yeah, thank you guys for the time today, and really appreciate all your answers and all you do to support both NorCal, SoCal, and Hawaii. So of course, I'm sure we'll share your contact with everyone after, but please do reach out to them. And we are going to now toss it over to our friend Craig Kessler, Executive Director for the California Alliance for Golf.
Thank you, Caitlin. And to give you an idea that we've changed the subject, I was thinking when you asked the question of your guests, what's your favorite golf course, that I got asked that question some years ago while playing golf with an LA County supervisor. Now, his was a serious question, and my answer was wherever I'm speaking that night. And he laughed and then asked if I was going to be running for his job. So so I would keep that in mind for all of you. I know I know at the SCGA, where I worked for many, many years, the answer to that question is all 460 of them are great in their own special way. Some host national championships, and some are like that Davis Municipal that Daryl grew up on. They're special too. In fact, in many ways, this audience knows they're perhaps more special than those that host the major championships. So today, what I thought I would do is I'm going to just blow very quickly through a few pertinent issues of the moment, and then spend a little bit of time on a subject that I never would have believed that's very high on the priority, very important to the golf industry right now, not just in California, but in many states and at the national level. And that's the difference between standard time and daylight time. I never thought such a distinction would be this complicated and this difficult to understand. You see Nikki Gatch smiling because she's the chair of the PGA of America's National Advocacy Committee, and so you're feeling just a touch of the pain sometimes I feel on these issues, and there are many of them. So just to bring you very quickly up to date in just a rapid fire situation, not a lot has changed in terms of at the state level. This is a very good year for us, unlike the last 5 or 6 years where we've had a lot of bills thrown at us that some of them rose to the level of literally existential challenges. We don't really have this year. We have a water target bill that we're going to support again, and this year we're even more. We believe the governor will actually sign it after it passes. There are some other bills dealing with substances like glyphosate, which are, in the language of the bill, is perfectly in line with the way the golf industry uses the material. And we're seeing that in the last few years, as a result of the California Alliance for Golf sort of upping its game and upping its presence, and I might add, acting very, very responsibly and credibly as a lobbying organization, that we're almost seeing legislation that's being crafted with, at times, with, I won't say dispensations for the golf community, but understanding that the golf community in many respects is a very responsible licensed users of these things as prescribed. So on all those levels, unlike previous years, unlike last year where we had a bill that would have prescribed the use of all pesticides and fertilizers in California's coastal zone, there's nothing like that this year. The one bill that gives us some heartache, and it's the subject that I alluded to as being more complicated than I would have thought. And I will try to go through the details so at least this audience at the end of this has some greater understanding of it, is this. It's ditching the switch of the clocks. We just moved our clocks forward. We've been doing that in the United States one way or the other for more than 100 years. But in recent years, the medical field has determined that when we, not so much when we lose that, when we gain that hour in the fall, but the hour we just lost in the spring, we have more heart attacks, more strokes, more upset, and the public doesn't really like it much either because it upsets our schedules. It's as if on a national level, almost a national level, because Arizona and Hawaii do not follow daylight saving time, but over 300 million Americans all get 1 hour of jet lag at the same time. So when any one individual gets a 1 or 2 hour jet lag, it's a minor inconvenience with no consequence. But when 300 million persons get it all at the same time, there are some discernible and quantifiable consequences. And increasingly, the people, American people, want to get rid of it and go to one or the other. Now, one they've always wanted, to the degree to which the preferences for which of the one or the other, that those preferences have been indicated, either as in California by a vote of the people by 62% in 2018, or in 18 other states by state legislative action, the preference is unanimously year-round daylight savings time, not standard time. However, the way federal law operates, while a state may go to permanent standard time, as do Hawaii and Arizona of their own volition, they need no approvals from anybody, in order to go to permanent daylight time would require Congress to amend the current act that governs it and has governed it for more than 100 years. And Congress, in response to those 19 states that have clearly indicated that preference, in 2022, the Senate passed the Sunshine Act, which would take us to permanent daylight time, no option. Arizona, Hawaii would come with us, and there would be no more standard time. However, it wasn't taken up in the House. It's come back in the Senate. I have to add that in this particular hyper-partisan atmosphere, it is a genuinely bipartisan bill. The co-authors are Senator Rick Scott of Florida, Republican, and an ally of the president, and Patty Murray of Washington, a Democrat and not an ally of the president. Our senior Senator Alex Padilla is one of the co-sponsors, and the co-sponsors are now number 14, 7 Republicans, 7 Democrats. So that's something they've agreed upon. However, in California, out of frustration that Congress has yet to act in the 6.5 years since we voted, there was an active bill last year. It didn't go too far, but it is much more robust this year, and it's gaining the support of the medical community to simply get rid of this switch of the time by going to standard time year-round, which we're free to do. Now, Oregon and Washington aren't going to follow, so be careful when you're driving across the border or going out of state. Now, while that could be problematic in California, think if you're in Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, these states are right next to each other. There will be a massive confusion. So taking my golf hat off for a moment, where there's undoubtedly, I don't care what anyone says, I've yet to talk to facilities that don't understand that if in a choice between permanent daylight time and permanent standard time, the golf industry's is much better off with permanent daylight time. Now, that becomes where this becomes difficult is that some of our national organizations say, why are we touching this? What's wrong with the status quo? And that was our position here for many years. I would agree. Just let sleeping dogs lie. Why would we get involved in this kind of thing? However, in real life and in real politics, you don't always get that choice. And increasingly, with the public wanting to get rid of the clock switch, and with there being some evidence that the clock switch causes damage, along with the fact that the only way California and other states can do it without a separate act of Congress, and for those of you who pay close attention to national headlines, Congress doesn't always do much. They'd be lucky if today they may actually get a continuing resolution to keep the government going. We'll see. So this is a small issue compared to that. This is the path of no resistance. This is being pushed. It is single issue bookkeeping at its worst, because perhaps if you study this from only one aspect of sleep deprivation, might militate in favor of permanent standard time. But the Brookings Institution did a study in 2015 that shows that if we were to go to permanent daylight time, crime would be considerably less, 27% less in the summer, by the way. That's pretty substantial. We've talked to recreation departments throughout this state, and they would lose all kinds of programming, particularly after school programming, not in the summer, school's not in, and not in the dead of winter, because we are on standard time now. But in those months like now, March, April, September, October, where there would not be enough time from after school to sunset to do a lot of programs. I think we understand it in the golf industry, whether it's First Tees or Youth on Course or SCGA Junior Foundation or the many other PGA Junior League. You run into problems of having to not do programming some months of the year because there's just not enough light. And a lot of these programs, particularly developmental, are in communities where the parents really don't want their kids going out if there's not proper lighting after a certain time, and that's part of the growth strategies of our game. So when you put all these things together, just because one and only one small aspect of this, and they're pushing this, and if nobody pushes back, then this will go through. That's rule one in politics. If some people push it and the rest of the people say, I don't really like it, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut, I can tell you what will always prevail. So in this particular case, because the final language has probably been put into print, but it hasn't been shared publicly yet. It will be shared when it has to go to a policy committee for study. There's some dissonance. The meetings we have had in Sacramento, there's some skepticism on a part of a lot of the legislators. And we've discovered that the author who looked us right in the eye and said that the popular choice was increasingly for standard time. Well, if no state has elected that, and 19 states have elected the opposite, and California's voters voted the opposite, I think that might be one of those what we've come to call alternative facts that they're pushing forward. But if you push an alternative fact into the public stream and nobody pushes back, that becomes a fact, and that's it. So I know with all the things we have going on, the loss of 13,000 homes in Los Angeles, with all the crises, with a budget that's out of whack, with a national government that's, it seems to have gone crazy, this is flying a little bit under the radar screen. But I think it's significant for the golf community. And if we can perhaps persuade our national organizations to take at least a position that doesn't contradict ours, but does something to the point where maybe they don't even favor that Sunshine Act that would take us to national daylight time, but simply say at this point, to avoid a total mess out there in America, because the issue's been joined, simply pick one option or the other and require the nation to follow it. They don't have to pick the option, just pick one. That would be at least a position that in California, Nebraska, Texas, and many other states that are going through this, it would at least prevent harm to the causes that we're trying to pursue. With that, I'd encourage you, I think both sections do share that California Lines for Golf newsletter, and that's sort of the lead this time. And if you click to read more, you can read all that gory detail and get a better understanding of it. You can also check it. It's on the SCGA website. I don't know if it's on other websites at this particular point, but I would encourage you to pay heed to this because losing those hours, once you do programming, losing those hours of play. And I know people have commented that, well, what about the desert? First of all, desert, the season standard time anyway, so it would make no difference. But even in the summer, there are noise ordinances in a lot of places. I've talked to some facilities that indicated that, well, what difference would it make? We'd pick up those hours in the morning. And I've noticed that I said, when do you start your play? And they said 6 o'clock. I said, how come you don't start earlier than that when the sun comes up? Oh, well, we can't because we're in a residential neighborhood. I said, so you think you're going to be able to, so when you pick up that hour in the morning and lose it in the afternoon, what do you think that's going to do to your tee times and your bottom line and your programming, not to mention your food and beverage? People like to play a little golf after work, and maybe just maybe, I just a thought they might hit the bar. I don't think they do that in the morning. And I don't, and so at 4 in the morning in particular. So I'm trying to get everyone to focus attention on this. It may seem a silly matter, and it's also a matter that we simply avoided because the status quo was just fine with us. But it's a resonant issue. It's an important issue. And increasingly, with demand busting at the seams in the urban, which is a good thing. That means the game is popular. But quite honestly, I'm sure this is something that PGA in particular has paid close heed to with all of us, really, with all of our growth programs. Increasingly, if people don't have access to be able to play the game, then we're going to lose those people we brought in, and we're not going to be able to bring in more people. We can't solve the land use issues, but we have to be mindful of those things that we do have control over. And this one, I do think we have control over. And I think if I could predict sort of the final argument here, I think California Alliance for Golf position will not be, we don't want to argue with doctors or sleep specialists. But we can say there are enough issues that have not been researched or vetted that form an informed position on this, and at least it ought to be a serious study for 2 or 3 years into the future. That's what happened to the bill last year, but the author pulled it because he wanted to bring it back this year. What motivates this author? I have no idea. For those of you listening in Northern California, Senator Roger Nilo, and his district is Roseville, Rockland, all the way not North Auburn, but Auburn, a beautiful part of the state, a lot of golf courses. If you live there, you might want to give him a call and suggest that you might have a different opinion. And others may want to do it ultimately as well. I'm actually optimistic about this one, but I don't stop. You don't pull your foot off the accelerator until the bill goes through, goes down, goes whatever. So with that, I'm sorry I focused a lot of time on one issue because it seems to be one that's difficult to understand. Some people think that the legislation in Washington leaves it up to the states. No, the states have one option and one. It's also telling that only 2 states have ever opted for standard time. Hawaii is in the middle of the globe, so the time's the same no matter what you do. And Arizona simply, if you look at the date this started in 1918, Arizona had been a state for 6 years. About 14 people lived there. And when I've asked the golf industry, they say, well, that's always been that way. We just never upset the apple cart. Got it. Although it would probably be better for us. But I understand they have bigger fish to fry, like water issues and so forth. So I understand the dynamic. So anyway, with that, I hope I shed a little bit of light on this issue that is more complicated than it seems at first blush. And if I didn't, you know where to get in touch with me, and do read that little blurb that if you hit the read more on the California Alliance for Golf newsletter, it really gives you something you can print out and refer back to as to what this really means for the golf industry and what the real dynamic is. So anyway, thank you for that.
Craig.
And I'll let everyone listening be the judge of whether I shone light on it or made it even more confusing than you thought you knew it. You thought you knew the issue before I started talking, and now you're really confused. And that's not the first time that's happened. So don't be shy about giving me a call or an email. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Craig. Caitlin, you want to take us across the finish line here?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we made it through the hour. So thank you all for being here. Thanks to all of our presenters today. It's been an awesome day. So housekeeping items, if you guys have called in on your cell phone, please report back to your section offices. So here it's Jenna in our office. I'm not sure exactly in SoCal, maybe Nikki or Bryce.
Steve Monday.
Stephen Monday. Report back to him if you've called in, if you were on your name is on there, then obviously we got the points. We just can't track the phone calls. So please go ahead and do that. And our next chat will be April 18th, Friday, April 18th. And we're going to have Jay Karen, who's the CEO for the National Golf Course Owners Association on. So that should be a great call with Jay. And thanks for joining again. Have a great weekend. Please stay safe out there. And hopefully this weather gets a little bit better up here in NorCal, but have a great weekend all. And it's been fun being with you. Take care.